Hey, house guests! Welcome to today's Big Brother 23 updates and spoilers. Yay! Happy Saturday. What's going on? Our house guests of the day are Matthew Burge and Laura Wardine. Thank you both so much for the support. We could not do this without you, and we appreciate it so much. So thank you again. And if you guys want to be house guests of the day, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. It's only $1 for a holla. And Laura, thank you so much for telling me how to pronounce your last name, because that makes a huge difference and it makes me feel so much more confident. So I really do appreciate that. Yay. All right. I also want to thank yesterday's super chatters before we get going, because that is a great way to support our channel and keep us making these videos and doing these streams. So I can't deal with that. So Sheena123, Jefferson Tucker, multiple times, of course, Michelle C., Traval K., Laura Dalton, and Andy W. Thank you all so much for the super chats yesterday. You guys are incredible. All right. Hope you're all having a great day so far. I know, no towel on the hair, but of course it is wet. I feel like there's only a handful of times so far this season where my hair has not been at least damp during the live stream. But anyway, let's get started. We've got some stuff to talk about. When we left off yesterday, Sarah Beth had just made her nominations. She put Claire and Big D up on the block, and she was thinking about possibly backdooring Derek X. How do we get here? During her one-on-one conversations, Sarah Beth was saying that she wanted to work with the Jackpot Alliance, which is her three-person alliance with Claire and Tiffany. And it seemed like she was really not trusting Alyssa, and she was thinking about potentially targeting her. But then what went wrong? After a 4-hour mind-numbing overnight conversation with Kyland, Sarah Beth decided to make the same initial nominees that Kyland made last week. Remember when Sarah Beth said that this was going to be her HOH and not Kyland's? So disappointing. Oh my God. So disappointing. So anyway, Sarah Beth did give both nominees a heads up before the ceremony. She told Big D that he and Azah are not her targets this week, which I feel like almost made it sound like they were going to be going up on the block together. So I think Big D was kind of pissed about that. But anyway, she did say later in the conversation that he'd be going up against Claire. So Sarah Beth says she's hoping that Azah can play in the roulette competition and pull him off the block, and then they would both be safe for this week. Big D said he knew that this was coming. He said, I understand, but he's not happy that the jokers keep getting used as pawns. Not okay. He says, we're not even coming for you. Yes, you are. Come on now. But he says there were people trying to flip the vote on you when you were nominated against Christian. That is true. And Sarah Beth says, you would not be seeing the block if it was a normal week with no twists. You know, I got to play things differently this week because of the roulette power and blah, 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 blah. But she says, like, you're not my target. And Big D says, I'm not upset with you. I'm just upset with the game. He's been upset the last few days because he's waiting for like a weightlifting competition or something, like something strength-based, because he feels like pretty much all the comps they've had so far have not been suited to his specialties. Okay. So Sarah Beth also talked to Claire and let her know that she was going up. Only part of this conversation was on the feed, so we missed like pretty much most of it. But Claire said, yeah, I'm open to going up because then if I'm already on the block, I can't be on the roulette wheel. Oh my God. And she told Sarah Beth, like, no hard feelings at all. What the F, Claire? What are you doing? Oh, I had such high hopes for Claire, but I feel like she's just been too meek so far. So, like I said before, Sarah Beth did end up putting Claire and Big D up on the block. Girl, your ass is getting played by the cookout. You're doing their dirty work right now. All right. So anyway, after nominations, Sarah Beth and DX were chatting in the HOH room. And Sarah Beth says that Hannah and Alyssa have already told her that they're going to play for the roulette power. Anyway, they're going to play for the roulette power, and they will take off who she wants. And she says if Tiffany gets enough money, she'll definitely play for Claire. Big D may end up playing for himself. So she says, I feel like there's a good chance that the power will be used this week. So it's up to you whether or not you want to play it or save your money. You know, you don't have to play it. So SB says, I don't really have a preference either way. So whatever you decide is good with me. Right. No. Sarah Beth does not want DX to play for the roulette power because if he wins, he'll be safe for the week. And she wants him available as a backdoor option. So she's trying to play it off like, you can, you know, decide whatever you want, but like, you don't have to play. So Sarah Beth says she thinks if the nominations stay the same, Big D will go because he's on a lot of people's radars after last week. You know, some people were trying really hard to flip that vote, saying whoever goes up against Big D in the future is definitely going to go home, yada, yada, yada. No, he will not go home. The cookout will keep him, at least until the final six. So Sarah Beth also says, we still got the power of veto. And she implies that she might try to backdoor a former teammate, meaning Xavier or Alyssa. She's not going to do that. She says, I'm not sure what I want to do yet, but that does leave the door open. So Derek X says he's not sure what he wants to do. He doesn't know if he's going to go for this roulette power or not. Okay, so then a little later, Ozza and Big D are chatting in the yacht club bedroom. And Ozza's telling him, if nominations stay the same, you will have the votes to stay. So you don't have to worry about that. And Big D's like, I know, but I'm just tired. He says, I don't mind being on the block. The problem is I need to win shit. I need to win an HOH or something. And Ozza says, look what happened to Brittany right after she won a POV. She became a huge target for everybody else. So she says, we've got to play a different type of game, boo. Not everybody can play that comp beast game. So she says, honestly, what's kept me in this house is the fact that I'm not a threat. And she's telling Derek F, like, you can't beat up on yourself. We all have different things that we're good at. We all have different skills. And Ozza says, the best thing that you did in this game so far was mobilizing all of us, meaning the cookout. And she says, if you were not here, we would probably have been picked off a long time ago. You're the person who had that idea and that mission. And she says, that's enough. I just got flashbacks to Enzo. But she says, that's enough. You can sit back and trust the process now. She says, you have people who want to save you with the roulette power this week. I want to save you if I have enough money to play. Possibly Alyssa, Xavier if he plays. So you don't need to worry. You've got people working with you. So he's like, I still want to win in comp. But Derek X and Hannah were chatting on the Sky Bridge. And Hannah says she feels like she's on SB's radar this week. And Derek X is like, you? What? But she wants you to go for that roulette power. So you would assume if she's telling you to go for the roulette, she doesn't mind if you're safe for the week. You're not one of her targets. And Hannah's like, I don't know. I just feel like I could be Sarah Beth's target, or at least she wouldn't be upset if I were to go. She says, that's what my gut is telling me. And she says, I'm probably just being unnecessarily paranoid, but that's what she's feeling right now. So Derek X is like, I don't know. I think if anyone has to worry right now, could be me, because SB, he's telling Hannah, SB is now telling me it's up to me if I want to play or not for the roulette. Yesterday, it seemed like she really wanted me to play. Now she's changed her tune. So if I don't play, I'm definitely not safe. Yes, listen to your gut on this. So Hannah's like, do you think that you're Sarah Beth's target? And DX says, not right now, but I definitely think that she would consider it. So Hannah says, and piss off Kylan? And Derek X says, I don't think it would really piss off Kylan that much if I was her target. He says that Sarah Beth would only do that if Kylan was on board with it. So Derek X thinks that Big D is the target right now. Oh my God. And he wonders what's going to happen if he goes up on the block next to Big D. you will go. You will go to jury. That's what will happen. But he says, I swear to God, if you guys send me to jury with Brittany, I will effing haunt you. Like 1 week alone with her? Mm-mm. So he says, it wouldn't be the worst thing though, if I go up on the block as a result of the roulette wheel, because then I would at least be guaranteed to play in the power of veto, and it wouldn't be like I was backdoored or anything like that. Okay, so then Kylan and Tiffany are chatting in the sea glass bedroom, and Kylan says, first he's like, I need a second. Just like, he's really basking in this right now. He says, last night, 3 out of 4 of Sarah Beth's targets were in the cookout. But by the end of my conversation with her, only 1 of her 4 targets is in the cookout. And he says that one, it's not even because of that person. It's just, it's Xavier. And he says that's because Sarah Beth feels like she can't fully trust Alyssa. It's not because of Xavier. So, oh my God, I gotta say, Kylan really did a number on her. Really did a number. But he also says Claire went from being an untouchable for Sarah Beth to being her number 2 target. So Tiffany asks if SB is expecting Big D to come off the block with the power this week. And Kylan says yes. So Tiffany asks, is Claire her target? And Kylan says, Sarah Beth has 4 targets. Derek X, Claire, Xavier, and Alyssa. So then Kylan is bragging about how much how much control he has over Sarah Beth. I have to say, like, he did get the job done, but it's just been so gross to watch. Okay. So then the feeds were down nearly 5 hours for the high roller room twist, and the power up for grabs this week is the chopping block roulette power. And whoever wins it can save someone from the block, and then they spin a wheel to pick who the replacement nominee is going to be. All right. So this is not confirmed, but it seems that the distribution of the BB Bucks this week is as follows. In the 100 BB Bucks bracket, we have Derek X, Big D, and Claire. 75 bucks, Hannah, Xavier, and Alyssa. And then 50 bucks, Tiffany, Kai, Sarah Beth, and Azza. So if you look at this, the only people that have moved, we've got Claire moving up all the way to 100. Alyssa moved up from 50 to 75. And Tiffany was the only person to move down. She moved down from 75 to 50. Uh-oh. Okay, so when the feeds return, we find out that Alyssa won the roulette power, and she used it to save Big D. It's like the non-cookout members just want to be picked off one by one. Why would you save Big D? Oh my God. But anyway, as a result, Xavier was randomly selected by the roulette wheel to go up in Big D's place. So that means we have Xavier versus Claire up on the block. So Alyssa and Xavier were chatting in the coral bedroom. And Alyssa's crying, saying, we're going to have the votes to keep you regardless of what happens. And Xavier's totally calm. He's chill. He says, we'll figure it out. I'm not overly worried. Duh. He knows he has the cookout behind him. He's got nothing to worry about unless another cookout member goes up next to him. So he says, I just don't want you beating yourself up. And Alyssa says, this is all my fault. I have to walk around knowing that I put you up on the block. And Xavier says, no, like, this is production's fault. It's okay. Don't cry because of me. I'll be all right. And he says, you didn't even cry this much for Christian when he left. All right. Anyway, yeah, that's that. Meanwhile, Claire was talking to Sarah Beth in the HOH room. And this is interesting because, little context here, Sarah Beth was saying before all of this that Alyssa would do what she wanted with the roulette power if she had won. So it sounds like now Sarah Beth is telling Claire that Alyssa decided to use the power on Big D because she was afraid that if Xavier were the one to go up, which he was, that he would go home against Big D. So she didn't want to take that risk. Uh-oh, she's throwing Alyssa under the bus here. So then Claire's asking, well, what's the plan for the power of veto? What are you thinking? And Sarah Beth does not have an answer. She says, I'm in a really tricky spot right now, but I don't want you to go this week. I'm really sorry that you're in this position. Are you though? Because I don't think you are. But Claire says, it's just a game, of course. I get that Alyssa can make her own decisions. Like, it is what it is. Okay. So then Claire checks in with Alyssa in the coral bedroom. And Alyssa says, here's what happened. I asked Sarah Beth what to do, and Sarah Beth said that she didn't want to risk Kai or Xavier going up on the block next to Big D because of how it all went last week with Brittany leaving almost unanimously. Oh, so she's throwing Sarah Beth under the bus. They're throwing each other under the bus. So she says, I asked if she wanted me to take down you or Big D if I won, and she said Big D. Ooh. So Claire is like, she's telling me that you made this decision. So Alyssa says, I was on board using it on whoever Sarah Beth wanted, and she said that she wanted Big D to come down. Yikes. And Claire says, it's okay. I believe you, Alyssa. I get it. It's a game. So eventually, Alyssa and Sarah Beth talked about this, and they came to the conclusion that they should be saying that originally Alyssa told Sarah Beth that she would do what she wanted, but then the more that she thought about it, she realized that Xavier, if he went up, he might not be safe next to Big D. So she brought that to Sarah Beth, and Sarah Beth agreed and said, yeah, you can do what you feel like you need to do. She gave her permission to do what she wanted. Okay, so then Xavier checked in with Sarah Beth in the HOH room, and Xavier's like, well, that's just how the game goes. It is what it is. Again, he's not worried. He's not worried. So Sarah Beth says, I think we have a good shot at pulling you down with the power of veto. And Xavier says, I'm not stressing, I'm chill. He says, I don't feel great sitting next to Claire on the block, but I feel a lot better than I would if I was sitting next to Big D. I wonder why. So Sarah Beth says that she really hopes that Xavier is going to come down with the power of veto because she's hoping that there will be an opportunity to backdoor this week. And Xavier says, yeah, I'll be gunning for that power of veto to take myself down. I think that this can be the week for a big move. And Sarah Beth says, yeah, I've been thinking about it all week. She's talking about backdooring Derek X. Okay, so then after, Sarah Beth was alone talking to the cameras, and she says, America is going to hate me. She says, I know you guys love Baby D, but this is working out really well so far. She says, if Baby D doesn't get selected to play for the power of veto, we have a really good shot at getting him on the block this week. And she says, if I can get him on the block next to Claire, I think he's definitely going to go. She's like, sorry, America. I'm sending your boy home. Why are you laughing? Oh my God. Are you thinking about all the good times that you're going to have in jury when you follow him out the door? Like, what do you think you're doing right now? Oh my God. This is terrible. But anyway, a little later, Derek X and Tiffany were chatting in the Sea Glass bedroom, and they're talking about the BB Bucks. And Derek X is shocked to hear that Tiffany only got $50 this week. So her total right now is 75. Honestly, I'm not shocked that Tiffany only got $50 because her edit last week was pretty harsh. I mean, I don't think America was going to take too kindly to her saying that she was ready to get rid of Claire and Derek X. I'm not saying that she shouldn't be doing that. I'm just saying I don't think America's going to like that. So I'm not surprised that she only got 50 this week. But Derek X shares that he got 100 again. So if he can make it through this week, he's guaranteed to have enough bucks to play for the Coin of Destiny, which is basically a coup d'etat power. But okay, if DX still has $200 right now, that means that he didn't try for the roulette. I think that was a mistake. Oh, okay. I mean, hindsight is 2020, right? But anyway, Tiffany says she's really scared if the veto is used this week that she could go up as the replacement nominee. And Derek X says, don't worry about it, because if I win the power veto, I'm not going to use it. Oh my God, stop. If Derek X were to win the power of veto and use it on Claire, that would mean another cookout member would have to go up on the block. One of them would definitely be leaving this week. But he's not thinking like that. I mean, I guess, I don't know if he's just in denial or he still doesn't realize that the cookout is a thing. But he says, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. You know, we'll have a whole day to think after the power of veto. Yes. Thank you. Oh my God. And honestly, I want to tell you guys, it's not even that I want the cookout to be broken up necessarily. It's just, it gets a little boring sometimes when one alliance just steamrolls through the whole game. You know, even if they haven't been HOH every single week, they've been like the majority this whole time. But anyway, moving on. So Tiffany says she's afraid, again, that Derek X will go up if Claire wins the power veto and pulls herself down. And she says it's not even the best case scenario for us for Claire to win the power veto. I gotta say, Tiffany is making it clear she would definitely sacrifice Claire before getting rid of Derek X. But Tiffany says best case scenario, the nominations stay the same, but we can't say that. You know, we can't say that to people. So Derek X says, I don't know. I think if Claire came down and I went up as the replacement, then I could be safe against Xavier on the block. Oh my God. It's hard to watch at this point. Ah! So then this morning, they had the power veto player picks. And this is it. This is the big moment of truth here. Will Derek X even have a chance to keep himself safe this week with this POV? So the players are the HOH, Sarah Beth, the two nominees, Xavier and Claire, and then 3 extra players, Big D, Alyssa, and Asa. Uh-oh. No DX. Oh, it is not looking good for him at this point because pretty much any one of these house guests would use the power of veto this week. So yeah, not looking good for him. But the former Kings are pumped AF. They're very excited. They're like, oh my God, we might actually pull this off. This is amazing. And of course, they're extra excited about it because DX was the one that took out Christian, their boy. So they're pretty pumped. But DX is bummed that he didn't get picked. He was really banking on that. But at the same time, he's also in denial because he's saying, oh, I would like to see Claire win the power veto and pull herself down. And he kept saying like multiple times, I don't even care if I go up on the block next to Xavier. He thinks that he would have the votes to stay. Wake up, Derek X. Oh my God, you're in danger. So isn't it ironic too? Like he took out Christian on a backdoor and now he's potentially going to be backdoored with like a true backdoor. Wild. But anyway, Hannah keeps telling him the best case scenario would be for the nominations to stay the same, but he is just not getting it. He feels like he's going to have the votes. Okay, and to add insult to injury, I believe Derek X is hosting the power veto competition this week. Damn, that's brutal for Sarah Beth to choose him. But anyway, the house guests have been waiting for the POV competition all day because they picked the players pretty early, but nothing groundbreaking really has been happening. Things are kind of set right now. You know, they just got to wait and see who's going to win that power veto. The only thing of note really that I would say, I'm pretty sure Hannah and Derek X creeped on Sarah Beth's HOH letter. Because, come on in. Bowie! Because when she read her letter for everyone on Thursday night, there was like a little PS, thank you, at the bottom.
Yeah, Sally knows English.
There was a PS at the bottom. And she was like, oh, I'm going to keep this to myself. Like, I'm going to keep this a secret. So I guess it was like something personal. And they were like, oh, okay, sure, that's fine. But then Hannah and Derek X decided to creep on it. That's kind of messed up. Because they were like, oh, maybe it's like something about her being America's player or something. So, yeah, that's...
Yeah, because they would say that in a letter for the whole house.
I know. It's kind of creepy that they did that. I'm not feeling that. But anyway, yeah, the house guests have just been waiting. Oh, you're so cute. The house guests have just been waiting for the POV competition. So if you guys want to check back later for the results, I will post them in the info box below. We got to cut these mats out, baby boy.
You
Oh.
so you filthy mouth.
Yeah, I know. I want to thank today's super chatters because you guys are awesome and we couldn't do it without you. So Adley Bruce, thank you so much for the super chat. And Gail Murphy Comedy, thank you so much for the super chat. What time on the feeds did they creep on the letter? It wasn't that long ago. I would say like probably in the last hour. I don't have the exact timestamp, but I would say in the last hour.
And what did it say?
Hannah didn't say. She was just like, oh, it's not game related. Anyway, thank you all so much for being here. It's been a blast. We will see you guys tomorrow. And just a reminder, tomorrow's live stream is earlier in the day. It's the Sunday matinee. So it should be in the 12 o'clock hour. It's usually around like 12:45 or so. So we'll see you then. Oh, we got another super chatter here. Josh D, thank you so much for the super chat. He says, which cookout member do you wish to win this season? That's a great question. Honestly, I would say Tiffany. I think she deserves to win. I think she's played a fantastic game so far. She's got great relationships with a lot of people. I would also say Xavier deserves it. I don't think that Kylan has a great chance with the jury. Big D hasn't really done much in the game. Azza also doesn't really have much of a resume yet. Hannah, I'm definitely rooting for her, but I don't know that she would be able to make a great case either to the jury yet because she hasn't really had any power. So I would say at this point, I would like to see Tiffany or Xavier win. I think they would be really deserving winners, but what do you say?
I think it would be fun if Big Brother's parents, Azza and Big D, were in the final two.
I do. I just love Azza so much. I know. I love Azza so much as a person. Like, if she could get some game going, like, I would love to see her in the final two.
She's so low-key
She's
funny.
a gem. Yeah, she's amazing. But anyway, that's where we're at right now.
That's not a reason to win.
No. Anyway, we'll see you guys next time. So thank you all so much for being here. And we'll see you tomorrow. So until then, much love. Bye.